Miss Earline Budd. I'm currently a non-medical case manager at Helping Individual People Survive, which is known as HIPS here in the District of Columbia, and I'm also the executive director of Empowering the Transgender Community, a newly founded nonprofit seeking to do housing for LGBTQ and others. In 1981, I was in a desperate state of mind. Some of my friends, younger friends, transgenders who had not even turned 24, had started to die. And so we're wondering, like, what's going on? Why are people dropping dead? They're dying. And then we start hearing, the age-related complex, ARC, and all that. And then finally we start hearing about AIDS, and that's what it was. And all of that was entwined into a group that I had came in contact with while doing commercial sex work that brought me into activism called ICAN, the Inner City AIDS Network, a group of gay men who were just phenomenal in my life. And they came out on what we call the stroll, and that's what we got. And they actually helped me to become a peer specialist, trained us. We put on plays, Michael St. Andres and all of us, and it was just so amazing as I sit back and think about it. And it just changed my life. At that time, myself and some other transgenders were all out there, doing dates and survival and all that. And so the proposition that ICAN gave us is that, you can do more, we can help you and become a peer specialist. And I personally said, what the hell, what I got to lose? And Alexander Robinson, I never forget him and some of the others and so when we went there and we signed up, and I just enjoyed it immensely, because all I could see was, I'm getting ready to do something that's gonna change my life from the despair of being on the street. Having to actually talk to other transgenders about using condoms, being safe, especially those that were doing commercial sex work, it was a difficult task because girls were trying to survive. And let me tell you that a lot of them, during their last days, had the opportunity to look at me and say to me, I wish I just listened to you, Miss Budd, but it's too late now, I'm dying. And so, then I had a lot of my close friends, older trans women. I had one transgender woman named Roberta Baldwin, and I will never forget her telling me that having all the money in the world, I can't buy a cure to this disease. If I could, I would. She wanted to live. So I saw so many, I'm telling you, the picture frame of my friends that have gone on, that I'm really amazed, to be honest with you, that I'm able to sit here today and be doing this interview and that I'm here. I was diagnosed in the Department of Corrections while at DC jail when the director of medical met with me and told me and said, Bud, your test results came back, and it came back showing antibodies for HIV. And he looked at me, so I shook my head. I said, okay. So he said, how do you feel about that? But it was because of all that I had been given through ICAN and all that I was able to look at him and say, okay, what's the next step? So then he said AZT. And he told me a little bit about it and how some people it was unfavorable. And I said, well, whatever I have to do to sustain life and to live, I will do. More visibility, always, always. And I tend to tell people that I think that's what we need. More visibility of not just one Earline Budd, but many Earline Budds in the community, so that others, because someone has to be that model, that role model, that mentor, to impact the others to say, it's okay. It's okay to come out. It's okay to talk about HIV. It's okay to say I'm positive today. Access has tremendously changed for the trans and LGBT community from my standpoint. Being someone that came from the 80s to now, I think we have some phenomenal programs like Whitman Walker, AHF, You know, we have Metro Health. There are so many programs that are catering, that are actually working with trans people and set aside a way to work with them. They have advocates and coordinators and all that. So things have drastically changed for our community. But I still say that at the end of the day, there's still much more that needs to be done.